Well, I'm back after 10 days of taking a little sabbatical. Hopefully, everybody had a happy Halloween. I did all the Halloween movies, well, the 10 that I watch, and so it's been some interesting last almost 2 weeks. Certain things have gone on in personal life. I don't want to get into details about that, but I just want to get into the review today, and I want to appreciate each and every one of you. And I've made it to 382 subscribers. That really means a lot to me. And so, from my friends from Instagram and Facebook, it's really great to have some great friends. And let's get to the review. Now, this is a movie I've been just trying to get to do a video on, and it just certain things happen to go on. Anyway, but the movie I just watched recently, so I can have a fresh memory about the film, and that movie is Deadtime Stories. Now, I know that the title is backwards, but that's because of the way my camera is set up. But Deadtime Stories is a 1986 movie, a horror film, that's kind of like an anthology a little bit, because you have a story in the beginning of it, and then you have like two different, two different stories actually it's three different stories. And one of them is, before I get into the details of this, it's directed by Jeff Delman. Jeff Delman, he happened to be one of the behind-the-scene makers of the Friday the 13th Part 2. And he wanted to do a movie of his own. So this came about with some other people in the film industry, and Deadtime Stories is a great film. It's a great 80s film. If you like anthologies or 80s films in general, I mean, this is definitely one you definitely want to check out. It stars Nick. I always call him Nick because I know him from Family Ties, but his name is Scott Valentine. You may have noticed him always playing Nick, Mallory's boyfriend on Family Ties. And not too many years, maybe a couple years or a year after this movie was made, he did My Demon Lover, and he's gone on to other films. It also stars Catherine Duprun. I guess I'm saying her last name right. This was like her first movie role. I know that she might have done a couple TV shows prior to this, and she's done a lot of TV shows after this, and a lot of movies. And she plays Goldie and then Locks, so it's not one continuous word. He also has Melissa Leo, an Oscar-nominated actress, and I believe she's actually won some awards as well. This is like one of her first films. I mean, there might have been a couple things she did before this, but she's went on to do a big career in movies. And Nicole Picard, who plays Red Riding Hood, she's also, her character's name is Rachel, but you know that it's Red Riding Hood. And her part was pretty good. This was actually her first movie as well. She's still acting in the business. The directing of this film was great. I like how they do the wraparound story, where it has the uncle and his little nephew, and he's watching him, and his nephew keeps having trouble sleeping, and he thinks there's monsters in the closet and monsters under his bed, and he comes in there and tells him stories. And the one story he starts to tell him is about, it's kind of like Peter and the Wolf a little bit, but it's more about witches. So, and the basic storyline is where this young boy, played by Scott Valentine, is taken with these two witches, and these two witches are trying to bring the main witch back, so they have to sacrifice men to do that. It's a great special effects. It's great how they brought back the witch, and you see the blood, and you see the veins, and they have a heart that goes inside the body, and it brings back the blood and everything. It's really cool how they, back in the 80s and the 90s, they actually did special effects, which was practical. There wasn't a lot of CGI back then, as there is as much today. That's just the way it's the passing of generations go on. That's just the way it happens. But the second story was a pretty good one as well. That one was Red Riding Hood. There is the guy that I did forget to mention, the guy that plays I'm guessing his name was Willie. I mean, I'm not sure if he's the one in the wolf costume, because I know there's a he might have been, and that's played by Matt Mittler. When I say that name, people are like, "Who the hell's Matt Mittler?" Well, if you've seen The Mutilator, he was in that, and he was also as a reporter in Basket Case 2, and he still acts today. Yeah, he plays in it as well. The great performances in that were the Cole Picard, who plays Rachel, Red Riding Hood, and Willie, who plays the werewolf, and the grandmother. Unfortunately, sadly, the grandmother who played this role passed away in '99. She didn't really have much of a career around this time and during this time. I think she played 2 other things. There's also a lot of other unfortunate passings of people in here. There's a captain and a lieutenant. I believe that's Lieutenant Jack B. Nimble, played by Robert. I have to look on my sheet here. Trimboli. Yeah, he died in 2001. And then you have Captain Jack B. Quick, played by the late Harvey Pierce. And then the 2 witches in the first story, Phyllis Craig and Anne Redfern, they both have passed away. They have the title names for their characters, but I don't recall them actually saying their name in the movie. It was also cool how they did the makeup. I'm not sure if Phyllis Craig actually looked like that, the main witch, before they brought the big witch away into it. Also, another small thing, the girl who played Miranda, Kathleen Fleeg, I guess her name is, she is still doing stuff in the industry today, but she never really went on to be a big movie star. And she was an attractive lady. And sometimes, if you watch movies in the 80s and the 90s, and sometimes up in the 2000s, it's kind of weird how you can see actors or actresses that you think would go on to a lot of big career, and it never really does. But it was great she did a great performance in it. And the last story was Goldilocks, and I guess you would call it Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. The 3 characters who play the bears, you have Papa Bear, played by Kevin Hannon, you have Baby Bear, played by Timothy Rule, and you have Mama Bear, played by Melissa Leo. It was a great cast. It's definitely, it's corny, it's a little bit cheesy, especially when Goldilocks has all these dead people in the house, because she has these powers that can make people do what she wants them to do. It's great. Catherine DePrume, I guess I keep saying I might be blowing out her last name out of proportion, but she did a great performance. I mean, this was I know that she did a nude scene in the shower. For many years, I thought, because for many years, a lot of saying that she was like 16, 17 years old when she did it. But in real life, she was actually about 20, 21 when she did that. One more thing I just want to say, Deadtime Stories is not your all-time best anthology film. There was a lot throughout the generations of horror films. Creepshow really comes to mind because, as we know, that's coming up on its 40th anniversary, or has already passed its 40th anniversary. Sometimes my mind wanders when I'm getting into doing these videos, but Creepshow was a great one from the 80s, and you had Creepshow 2, you had Tales from the Dark Side from the 90s, you had the TV series Tales from the Dark Side, you had Tales from the Crypts that ran from 89 to 96. So you had a lot of anthology stuff. I didn't go into detail with everyone because I could probably go on forever, but Tales from the Hood was another great one. Anyway, Deadtime Stories, in my mind, is definitely an 8 out of 10 on the Richter scale, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. I don't know too many people who have not seen it, but there probably is a number that have not seen it, or they have heard of it, just haven't gotten around to watching it. So I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere. It could be on Tubi, because I know Tubi plays a lot of horror films, recent and past. And so yeah, that's the Deadtime Stories. Not a very long video. But yeah, I'm going to try to do another video on Sunday. Just depends on how things go in personal life. But other than that, if I don't get a chance to do another video, it might be a couple weeks before you see me do another video. But I really appreciate each and every one of you liking the video, and I do appreciate the comments. And there's some certain people out there that just try to help others, and that's really cool to have someone that you've not met in life, but you've met over the internet, and you become connected as friends, and they help you try to get your YouTube exposed more to more people. It's really great having that. So yeah, this is Deadtime Stories, and I really appreciate you sticking with me and watching these sometimes short reviews. So, but anyway, have a great week, and I will check you out on Sunday or maybe a couple weeks. And thanks again. Enjoy.